ominously. I will be right back.
Okay. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourself in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours, and welcome to the exciting summit of darkness in Dublin. The baronial freehold of the Barony of Frozen Tears lives up to its name today. Inside the entirety of the encompassing circumference is frozen solid. Everything is done in a motif of ice. It seems to wrap its way around the great walls and pillars. All of the furniture is also made from ice. The cutlery, the same. Everything appears to have this grand motif, as white flowers are everywhere. Everything is pure. Everything is serene. Everything has a cold brilliance to it that seems to echo all around. Many footmen and valets collect coats as it is not cold in here, the ice seeming to care naught for heat. It does not melt, it does not break, it does not splinter, it does not shatter, unless incredible force is put to it. But, as I say, there is a simple, absolute elegance. Many chairs have been laid out in order to observe, as a great altar-like vestibule exists, whereon there are two cushions that have been placed on the ground. The good, the great, the noble are seated. The commoners, on the other hand, are relegated to standing at the back. But then again, at least they got an invitation. Glares at my future wife. Anyone of noble station is offered a seat. The seating arrangements have been planned to perfection, so as rivals do not sit with one another, and allies tend to be given pride of place next to one another. After all, in the ever-changing, ever-shifting, ever-altering plane of changeling politics, well, frankly, this is how you survive. The wedding itself is due to take place shortly. However, guests are still arriving, people are still milling, everything is fabulous. They've even dressed Borscht up as the minister. What could possibly go wrong? So it is with that vein that we shall begin. If you would like to do some your introductions, we shall start with Sir Christian. Welcome, Sir Christian.
Sir Christian enters wearing a suit that he's bought for the event, dressing appropriately. He's got his dragonfly brooch on, and he's made an effort to dress up for this evening. Just walks towards his arranged seat.
Wonderful. Shayna, if you would like to introduce your new little squire.
Yes, she is. Saoirse is not exactly sure what she is supposed to be doing at the moment, as she has been asked to sing, but she's not quite sure when. But she's wearing a black ball gown with intricate metal detailing around the shoulders, inlaid with sapphires. Initially, she just makes her way up to her seat, trying to avoid that.
All right, next will be Violet.
Violet's there, not in like fancy clothes, but a chef's jacket, a hat on, and managing all the food at the moment. So keeping a cool and calm face. You know, yeah, that goes over there. Even though there's like a 90% chance things are going wrong.
And Borscht.
Borscht is kind of walking up and down the catering table at first until the ceremony gets started properly. Looking at it, deciding if he wants to try anything or stick to his typical meal. He has done up fairly fancily for himself as a minister. His full tattoo on his cheek is displayed prominently as per the rules. I'll eventually just finish looking up at the catering before going to take his place as where the minister should stand.
For the record, I will point out the food is exquisite because I saw those rolls.
It is. Do not think Borsch's opinion matters in the slightest. He's just very picky and old.
Is he wearing a yarmulke?
He is wearing a yarmulke.
Excellent.
It may or may not have the House of Verich crest on the top of it.
Excellent. Voidfrost, for his part, is dressed in black robes this evening, with the golden sun proudly stitched over his heart. He is standing, waiting rather calmly next to the altar, wherein the ceremony itself will eventually take place. But yeah, there is definitely an outer layer of calm and serenity that he is giving off this evening. He looks down at a pocket watch that he has in one of the many folds of his coat, on checking the time, indicating to himself that soon that they're going to begin. As Borscht steps up onto the pulpit, or in the vestibule, as it were, he looks up and he says, "I assume everything is good and ready."
No, food seems well. People are arriving. Solskjaer is here. He just kind of lightly taps the back of the altar.
You put the gun on the under the altar.
Like put Solskjaer under the altar. No, she goes where I go.
That is oddly acceptable. It also means in the event we have to leave quickly, you lay down covering fire.
No.
But Austin, do you exist?
Exists.
I assume that this event is being quite well attended.
Yes, it is. There are a fair number of other nobles, some commoners, and then I can get my hand to work. I think it's the I want.
Ah, excellent.
Actually, Evan, is there an opportunity for Christian to approach Voidfrost, or is that inappropriate at this time?
No, you can come up to him. He is standing up at the altar. People are probably coming up to congratulate him before the wedding begins properly, etc.
Christian will get into that session and get in line to address Baron Voidfrost because he has something quite important to tell him.
Ah, Sir Christian, I was very sorry to hear about the fate of Baron Lionthorn.
He has a haunted expression, like a distant, vacant expression on his beautiful features, but he nods. eyes somewhat hollow.
We did our best, but we were not quick enough, unfortunately.
Sir Falarin has apprised me of that calamity. I weep for the fallen.
Did you wish to say something to me?
He nods a couple of times and glances down. These creatures that we have faced of late, I do not mean to cast a pall upon your splendid evening, but it has become apparent to me that the outright destruction of such creatures creates untold devastation upon the ground they fall upon.
No. These are the entities that we have engaged. I have engaged 2 of them, and every time they die, they seem to consume everything around them in flickering darkness.
I did battle with one such in Newshire, and there it was told to me that it was fortunate that the creature fled before me, for if I had slain it, the thorp may have been consumed.
Considering the effort I went to make that torp, I'm glad that did not happen. But I understand. I will have defenses redoubled. As I said, in case it is of interest to you, I am forming a militia in order to see to the defense of holdings in my domain and indeed in the domain that I am currently caretaking until such point as a new baron is assigned.
He hadn't heard that, so his eyebrow goes up.
And as you say that, the Duchess walks up and has a small little box in her hands.
As soon as the Duchess walks up, very respectful, courtly bow. We bow.
Oh, Mr. Boyfrost, I'm so pleased to see that the wedding's still going on, given everything that's happened.
Ultimately, my intended and I believe that enough sorrow has taken place that we need to try and mediate it with some joy.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Where should I place the wedding presents? I didn't see the table.
He will denote the table, but he will say, "It would be a pleasure for me to accept it from your hand personally, Your Grace."
Of course. And she will hand it over, box in one hand, and she reaches back and a little tiny glass, a very large martini glass appears in her hand, and she sips it and she hands it over. I think you'll find these quite useful.
He will not bow once again, accept the gifts, and he won't open the box now. He will wait till his wife is around, or his future wife is around, but he will basically put it. Is it small enough to put in one of the many folds of his robe?
Yeah, it's probably 3 inches by like an inch and a half, by like 3 inches.
Did you say she also gives him a glass?
No, a glass appears in her hand that she sips.
Ah, excellent. The Duchess has had a special seat laid out for her that is a very, very comfortable looking chair. It's also in a very dominating position because I'm not stupid.
Excellent.
But he will say, he kind of looks at Borscht and looks down at his clock. He basically sends he sends one of his Boggin pages in order to inquire if his wife to be is, or if we should begin, basically if Willow is ready for the ceremony to begin proper. So little Boggin runs, tiny Boggin.
And the Duchess will look over. Is this the ennobled Dubois? Looking at Christian.
This is Sir Christian Dubois, my lady.
Christian rises from his bow because he struck one when the Baron did, but he held it. But now he rises.
She looks at you, and there's a genuine sadness in her face. I'm sorry for your loss. But don't worry, we will make sure the Barony gets taken care of.
He looks very sad as well, but he's sort of drawn to the Duchess's deific appearance anyways. He nods, tilts his head. I'm very sad as well. There's a senseless loss of life and glamour.
Indeed, but we are here to celebrate good things. A wedding. I look forward to it.
I will also point out that there's a bit of hand-wavy kind of time malarkey going on. This actually takes place on Beltane, just in case it's of any importance whatsoever.
Okay.
It's just that we couldn't do it on the day due to other people having time constraints and stuff.
Life.
Yes, life. But yeah, so Tiny Boggin kind of knocks at the door, kind of.
Yeah, door gets opened by Willow because I don't think there's anyone there.
I was gonna say you probably had like maids to help you dress.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
But yeah. So she asks if you're good to go, basically.
Yeah, Willow will nod. Yeah, thank you. I'm ready.
Cool. At which point we will flick forward about 5 minutes, and the wonderful bridal march will begin. It's being played on what appears to be a steam-powered organ, so it sounds very kind of grand and hollow.
It does.
Everyone stands up. Void Frost turns as Willow walks towards the altar. At which point, when she gets there, he takes one of her hands, probably her left hand in his right hand.
Yep, Willow will walk forwards. Slowly tries to keep pace with the music. She's not very musically inclined, so but it's not that hard to follow that rhythm, really. Yeah, she's dressed in a rather simple dress that has some lace coverings, has a high neckline. It makes her, even though she's extremely short, it still makes her look sort of, statuesque in a way. And she's wearing simple lily in her hair, white, of course, and is carrying a bouquet, a very small bouquet with white lilies and bells of Ireland. And yeah, she'll approach Void Frost.
Void Frost takes her hand in his, and then they both turn towards Borscht.
Borscht looks at both of them before going into his speech. He'll clear his throat for a second and say, "Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to witness a union in the eyes of dreaming. It is all too often we find ourselves alone, fighting the forces of banality, and all we desire is a little companionship. these two have been lucky and to find each other. They have been born to very different stations, but through the power of glamour and the dreaming, they found each other. So we are gathered here today to watch them unify, to see one risen up, and perhaps one get someone to knock him down a few pegs. And I'll just kind of give a smile towards Baron Voidfrost. Stop and think for a second. It's been a minute since he's had to do this. Let us revel in the joy on display here today. May we treasure these memories that happened today. If anyone has cause to object to the forming of this union, they may speak now. He'll look around.
The Duchess will adjust herself in her chair, will take a sip of her drink, and very intently gaze around the room. There's silence from the mass.
The Duchess just catches Christian looking back at her, and then he averts his eyes and smiles.
On seeing that nobody apparently wishes to object, the course will continue. While the marriage is a secret and serious tradition, it is also cause for tremendous joy. Married life is full of surprises, adventures, and memory-making. When Baron Voidfrost and Willow finalize this union, they'll begin a new life of partnership, one defined by shared hopes, dreams, and successes. He'll clear his throat again. And he'll look at the couple, the married couple to be, before saying, as you learn to live as one, you will encounter many challenges that can help you grow. Spend time doing the things that make life precious. Cooperate with each other. Always make time to laugh each other, or laugh together, and never lose appreciation for each other. Remember, too, to adhere to the vows that you will make today. The dreaming will not forget them. He'll just kind of give another sideways look at the both of them. Seek strength from each other, give hope to each other, and let your trials help you grow together. Take another deep breath. Now, have you two prepared vows for each other?
Voidfrost, out of character, he has. I don't know if Saskia has.
Saskia's been extremely busy, but I'll conjure something up.
Ad-libbing.
Yep. To be honest, out of character, I wrote my own speech in like 20 minutes. So, you know.
Orish will look at the pair, and seeing that Voidfrost seems to be a little more prepared, will give him the nod and say, then please start us off, Voidfrost.
The sun must set, so the moon may rise. And so it is that I pledge to give both my sunrises and my moonrises to you. For as long as the dreaming grants me breath, for as long as the cycle continues, I shall endure in my fidelity, my faith, and my known truth that you and I shall never be parted in this life. I swear to you all that I have that I can give. all that is able to be granted, I give unto you, until it is that there is no more sun, and until there is no more moon. This before the dreaming I pledge once, I pledged thrice, twice, and by the dreaming I pledged thrice.
Of course, will nod, and then turn to Willow. And you, Willow.
She'll definitely look a bit nervous because, speaking and there's a mass of people there. That's not her forte. Um, yeah, she'll open her mouth, close it again. Um, again, a look of hesitation, but well, then she'll start. You shine as bright as the sun, bathing everyone that your light touches. My devotion will be as deep as the sea that I will swim in. And I will hope for many sunlit days in which I can lay on the banks and bathe in your warmth, as well as many full moons that will glisten on the waves of the seas and the rivers. And she'll again kind of look a bit like, oh god, that was never as good as anything that, that Void Frost said, but hey.
Please join hands.
Hands join.
Baron Alexis Voidfrost Apfarage, do you take Willow to be your lawfully wedded wife? Do you promise to support her completely and love her unconditionally so long as you both shall live?
You might want to axe the last segment in that.
Oh shit, you're right.
Hey,
I forgot, my bad.
roll with that. Roll with it.
What? Okay.
He said roll with it.
Roll with it.
He's just going to look at her, or look at him.
He will look back at Willow, cursing the fact that Borscht exists. And he will say, I swear to give to you all that I can give to you. Desperate sidestepping.
Mhm.
I'm gonna skin Borscht alive.
Borscht will kind of have an oh shit look on his face after he said the last thing, and then just kind of nod as he notices Voidfrost's fucking sidestep. Before turning to Willow. And sorry, 1 second. Willow Miller, do you take Baron Voidfrost Apfarage as your lawfully wedded husband? Do you promise to support him completely and love him unconditionally so long as you both shall live?
And Willow will look up at Void Frost and says, as you do, so shall I.
Very well, let us proceed. It is now time to exchange the rings. The circle formed by each ring is a symbol of your eternal commitment to each other. May these rings remind you of the sacred promises you've made to each other today in the company of us all.
the rings will be brought forward because it's Void Frost. He is probably. Also, I think that you and I discussed this briefly. Did I have the conversation with you that the gold rings were going to be white gold? Because fuck gold.
Yeah.
Cool. So the rings will be presented. He will put the ring on Willow's finger.
And yeah, she will put it on his.
Well, by the power vested in me by the dreaming and by all the participants today, I now pronounce you, Willow Miller, and you, Baron Ellis, Bifrost and Varric, as husband and wife. You may now kiss the bride.
All right. Hey, Austin, how's it going?
Hi.
So, you know what? He wants to make this motherfucking memorable. So as he takes her by the waist and he leans in to kiss her, the kiss itself is going to be my bunk for grandeur.
Oh, you.
That's fine. We will. We will hand wave you and accept that.
Excellent. So, but yeah, he will kiss her. He very gently and softly kind of moves a strand of hair out of her face. Very nice. Ladies and gentlemen, in that case, in accordance with the old laws that were written in the time when man still feared the dark, when it was that we ruled, and when it was the shadows were easily banished by the light, allow me to introduce to you. By the way, weird question. I don't know how this works. Do you take my changeling last name?
Eh,
If they want, it wouldn't be uncommon or unheard of.
Gonna be Willow Voidfrost?
Fine with me.
Okay. Allow me to introduce you for the first time, Baroness Willow Voidfrost ap Varich. At which point you'll see, because let's do some chicanery. There will be a golden sun necklace that will just do the neck thing.
She has to swear the house oath.
She does. As a matter of fact, if you're happy with us doing it, Austin, we can do this at the because we have to do it twice. We have to do it once at moonrise and once at sunrise. So if you're happy, we can do the moonrise portion of it now
Sure.
in front of all the peeps. I think it's in Book of Houses.
It's also in C20 in the house section.
Is it?
Page 136. Yeah, all the houses have their house oath.
Cool. So he will look at Willow and he will basically do the repeat words after me.
Or gonna give her a card. That's also acceptable.
Yeah, we'll do it on a card. What page did you say it was?
C20 136.
Saskia,
Yes.
do you have the thingy, or do you need like copy and paste or something?
I am trying to find it, but I don't know. I don't see it yet on the page.
It's
That
just
might-
it's under the House Varich name and how they pronounce it.
It's the
Oh, it's the. Oh, okay.
Yep, that's their house oath.
Okay. You know what? Willow will kneel down in front of Voidfrost because that makes sense. And yeah, again, a little hesitant for speaking in public. she will swear the oath and will state, one pattern I started, now I end it to begin anew in the name of Varich, founder of the house I take as my own. May I never leave the threads of a pattern unread. May I never let a challenge go unanswered. May I never give a vow of true love to another. I give honor to House Varich and serve it with my mind, my heart, and my actions. If I forswear my oath, may all hands of my house rise against me, and may the pattern of my beating heart fall to stillness forever.
In that case, when she stands up, he will say the "We welcome blah blah blah," so that it makes more actual sense.
The adoption one.
Yeah, actually, which is the adoption oath? Because I should actually say that.
Um, there is one. Give me a second. I'm looking for it.
Oaths, kids. We do a lot of them.
They are important. Importante.
Importante.
So as you swear the oath, Willow, you find yourself becoming distant, becoming a little emotionally stunted isn't the right word, but suppressed.
Mhm.
Joy, love, extreme passion are muted within you, and you see things with more technical clarity. And I cannot find the Varric adoption one or acceptance one. So blah blah blah.
He will, I accept you on behalf of the blah blah blah. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Willow will stand up. And will go and stand beside her husband.
Ladies and gentlemen, now then, let it never be said that we would send you from this hall without great music and revelry. He claps his hands, and you know what? An all satyr band is going to start playing. You know it's a party when there are satyrs playing the music. Please drink deep, eat your fill, and dance until darkness becomes dawn.
Party, party.
But yeah, you know what? As a matter of fact, because we had contracted a lovely young squire to sing, so sing for the first dance, my dear. That seems like a great idea.
Yay. Okay. To the dice roller then.
What song will she choose to sing? You haven't been given anything.
Real helpful.
Choosing to be helpful, not really.
No, not at all. What's a good wedding song? I don't even know what a good wedding song is.
I will always love you.
Yeah, real good idea for, house marriage.
Shh, nothing's on fire. Shh, you're on fire.
Oh, you can use mine and Tiger's wedding song. So Elvis,
That has this kind of cheerful one just suggested though.
What is Elvis?
Actually, that's not a bad idea. At last, I see the light from Tangled.
To be honest, that was
Oh
my
yeah, there
heading
we
thought.
go. Okay. Let's see. We have got 10 dice. And Voice of the Songbird reduces the difficulty by 2.
I believe so.
Let me check. Merits.
Oh goodness, you're fine. You lost your pacifier again, didn't you? There you go.
Those noises.
That's just
Voice of the
Satyr Man
Songbird,
warming up.
-2.
What was it?
Voice of the Songbird, -2.
Okay, so that make it difficulty 4.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 6 successes.
It's actually more than that. It's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh. Also,
one,
she
two,
has
three.
a specialty in singing.
6, 7, 8. So that's 7 successes. Whew.
That's spicy.
And I am not going to subject you all to my actual singing.
You know, as the dance, as she starts to sing out like pure and clear, like the dance will obviously happen, but it probably makes people stop just to listen to the song.
Yeah. People stop, people weep. The satyr
Oh.
shut up.
That's a hell of a first impression.
You can just see the angry old fucking knocker just shed a tear, just trying to desperately hide it. I'm a
Yep.
guy. You're a guy.
He does get a single tear, and then he just kind of starts to glare at it, and it starts rolling back up his chin, up his cheek.
Yeah, as a developer, you can intimidate an animated object.
That's a red cat birthright.
Oh, that's funny.
Knockers can also do it, but it's like created things and objects to get them to work.
Or not work.
Or not work.
I assume the food goes down well with all of Kim's slavings.
Yes, the food is fantastic. All of
Standing,
the food is delicious and fantastic.
Voidfrost takes Willow's hand, and after the dance, he walks in front of the crowd and he opens his arms and he says, "Friends, we thank you for coming this evening. If nothing else, you have each proved the fact that with many faces, many truths, ultimately, as long as there is hope for tomorrow and a song," and he will look down very pointedly at the squire, "within our hearts, we can weather any storm. The darkness cannot consume us as long as we believe that there will be a brighter tomorrow." And he will offer an inclination of his head. "Hope will prevail." Nod.
You know what? I think that is a very appropriate moment to throw a bouquet. There's a crowd. There's like, especially with like hope will prevail. You know, who will be the next bride? So the Willow will just toss the bouquet towards the crowd, seeing who'll catch it.
So you gather up the single women. You herd them into a location. You go to throw the bouquet, and now I need a perception kenning from everyone.
As everything lights on fire.
Right? Oh God.
This is why Fox is underneath the altar.
It's called fire support.
What was that?
He said, "This is why my gun is under the table." My response was, "It's called fire support."
Is it starting at 6?
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit! I forgot about my Song of the Muse. That would have been reduced by 3.
Borscht got 4. What's it 4?
Everyone seems to be getting 4.
Yes.
So you all feel a strange surge of magic as the bouquet flies through the air, and is not offensive and not hostile, but as a young clericon grabs the bouquet, she kind of like lets out an oof, and it kind of falls to the. It doesn't so much fall to the ground or out of her hands, but she has to, go with the flow of the momentum to catch it, so she doesn't drop it, or it is suddenly a lot heavier than it should be. And then she lets out a muffled, like, eep! And has a very concerned look on her face.
What seems to be the matter?
She will hold up the bouquet. And all of the. So everybody can take a look at it. And all of them have been turned to what appears to be iron. Does not trigger a banality response or a banality trigger. They do not feel like cold iron. They are not agents of banality, but Those were flowers a second ago, and now they appear to be made of some sort of iron.
Woodfrost's eyes go very narrow.
I'll go and try to approach the bouquet.
They are flowers, relatively nice. They're a beautiful arrangement, but they are all made out of again, this weird metallic substance.
Is there can I get a grain mare check, or is it just like just
You were not here. There was a kinning roll. There was a search of magic that where it was detected.
okay? It's just iron, your lord and grace.
He's going to walk down to kind of basically. Can the flowers be taken apart like the bouquet, or are they welded together?
Yeah, they can be taken apart.
He'll pick one of the flowers, which is originally a white rose from the bouquet, and he looks at it.
Okay.
He kind of puts it down again, and he says, "My apologies. It would seem as though flowers are required. I would hate for this evening to be spoiled by one or two unfortunate strands of etheratic oddity. My late, sorry, he looks up at the Cluricon. Is it just a commoner Cluricon?
Yep.
You girl, what is your name?
Sasha.
Hello, Sasha. Seems to me like you've been cheated out of some very beautiful flowers. He turns to Aldwin and he says, Sir Aldwin, would you mind terribly creating a new bouquet for this young lady and sending me the bill for it?
Absolutely, your grace.
You must apologize. And he does something he offers a very slight bow to the commoner.
Oh, okay.
Alden will go since he
bows her
helped.
head.
Go ahead, Tar.
She bows her head.
Continue to say anything.
Oh, he's gonna take her by the hand, and she gets to pick out her own flowers and what she wants.
Willow will walk up to Voidfrost and will ask for at least one of the flowers. The iron ones.
He'll give you one of them.
Okay.
It's a lily.
Yay! I like lilies.
Oh yes. He will go back up to the table that they're seated at, because obviously the meal is still going. There's still raucous laughter and dancing. Austin, we're going to open the Duchess's present because she made a point of giving it to me.
So it is the present is a small box, again, like 3 inches by 3 inches, by like an inch and a half.
Mhm.
It is inside there are 2 necklaces. Both appear to be small books. Perception, Kenny?
This we can do. Three successes.
How many?
3.
Okay. You get there's glamour. It is some sort of a treasure.
Saskia, you're gonna roll your canning?
Oh, right. Sorry, I thought it was just you, so I didn't roll. My bad. Okay, that is like, does the 1 take away the 10 or a 9?
It takes away 1 success from the 10.
Okay.
If you have a special. Oh no. So yeah, it'll be 2 successes.
I have specialty attentive, if that counts, on perception.
Sure.
Also 3 successes then.
It is some sort of a treasure.
Well, yeah.
Are there obvious denotations for which is meant to be for whom, or are they both interchangeable?
They're a match set.
Okay. In that case, Void Frost will basically he will basically turn Willow around and put hers on before he'll put his own on.
Yeah, Willow will move her hair to the side so you can actually do that. You can see that she's wearing like earrings, like tiny small hearts actually, made of like gold and red ruby. And she'll move her hair back, of course, afterwards.
Yeah. So we'll put on both of the necklaces, Austin, in case that does anything.
Nope. But they're very nice.
I'm gonna go poke an Ilunid later to be like, what do these do?
Smart.
I know, right? But yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think that now, if everyone is content, we can wrap it up because then nothing else no one wants to do. The marriage has happened. Everyone has had their food and drink. It is a good place. No? Unless your Christian wants to like beat me up for marrying his woman or something.
No, I'm good.
Cool. In that case, thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been another scene in Darkness in Dublin. Have a pleasant evening.